Good morning, Playa Desnuda fans. This is John Bremner from nice and warm, already 93 degrees at 9 a.m. Arizona. And here we go with a little operations of the Playa Desnuda branch. As of right now, 1445 is waiting for some less than carload items to be loaded into her. 1124 is sitting on the ready track, just waiting for his next assignment. We do have to take one pass down Playa Desnuda with the actual streetcar to keep up the license and the franchise of the line, so the city can keep us active, so we have our lucrative freight business going. The Southern Pacific has already dropped off the train, and we have made up our outbound train to Playa Desnuda for deliveries and pickups. Due to space, you'll notice that the caboose is the front of the train and the locomotive is the rear. Once we get on the way, you will now see basic switching for the Playa Desnuda branch. You'll notice the first thing we're doing is we're pushing the train all the way down to the end of available track, and we are going to be dropping off the caboose and the tank cars first as we switch out the box cars at Petty Crate and Barrel, Smoss Warehouses, dropping one off at Gallifrey Industries, and dropping one off at D'Amato Lumber. The Pacific Electric crew is a little bit small to do this work, so we have to use the hand of God and a bamboo skewer to disconnect these couplers. All couplers, with the exception of the Atlas VO1000, are microtrains, and quite frankly, I cannot say enough good things about microtrains. I use microtrains couplers as well as trucks on everything that I have. Once uncoupled, we're going to go ahead and pull forward. Just remember to stop at any crossing. The wigwags are there for protection, but quite frankly, this is 1950 and people don't really follow those safety laws. Once the switch is cleared, we are going to go ahead and throw the switch to allow it to go onto the siding, and we're also going to throw the switch to go onto the spur here to go ahead and collect what we need, using the full train as a pick. Once we have a successful coupling, go ahead and start pulling out the train. The nice thing about the yard lead is this does make this move a lot easier because we have a lot more room than we did before the extension. And here we go to make the guy in the 40 Ford and the 34 Ford mad yet again. We're going to be dropping these cars off right in the middle of the street. Fortunately, there is some laws behind this that is allowed to do it. You can legally block a crossing for up to 10 minutes. The fun part is, due to the size of the couplers, the bamboo skewer gets a little difficult sometimes to get that taken care of. Now we're going to go ahead and pull out. Realign the switch. And here we go to drop off the cars. Once it's spotted, we're going to need to move down and simply uncouple the car. Once the car is uncoupled, we then go ahead, move forward, and proceed with our switching. A proper switch crew in the yard with the hustlers will set everything up to be in a nice order to drop everything off at the right spots, making our jobs a lot easier. Next up, we're going to clear the actual route through town, allowing the guys in the cars to move forward if they do decide. Always take time to make sure all of your switches are properly aligned before moving any equipment. Knowing your exact train length is always a big benefit. I really don't recommend doing this unless you've done this multiple times. Now we're going to go ahead and move forward. And always do a nice prototypical soft connection like taught as an engineer. You don't want to jostle what's inside here for obvious reasons. Next, we're going to go ahead and get these two cars out of the way, and we're going to put them into the siding for Playa Desnuda show. Yet again, always set your switches first before you do anything else. Next up, we're going to go ahead and clear out Gallifrey Industries and Smoss Warehouse using the two cars that we're delivering as picks. Fortunately, we have a nice little overhead view thanks to a nice quick little stepladder below the layout. Once these are connected, we're going to go ahead and pull them out. The Pacific Electric car is a pickup, as well as the Northwestern Pacific car. The Southern Pacific de Mexico car is going to be left at Gallifrey Industries. Now that we got the Pacific Electric car in the siding here, actually on the main, we're going to go ahead and detach it, but the main's blocked anyways because, well, quite frankly, we're under yard rules right now for the local. We We've also separated off the other two cars that were at Gallifrey, and we're just going to go ahead and start moving the train through. Again, always clear the switch, throw it properly before any move. And we're going to drop the Southern Pacific car off first at Smoss Warehouse. This is very careful because you don't want to hit the building, because there is an overhang on this building that is cost of the end of the track. Now we got this disconnected. We're going to go ahead and pull forward, and here's where it's going to get fun. As I said, the Northwestern Pacific car here is not going to be returned back, but the Southern Pacific de Mexico car is. This is where a runaround track actually becomes very useful. We're going to be using the runaround track right now to spot this Spokane, Portland, and Seattle boxcar here, while we go ahead and get the Northwestern Pacific car out of the way. And I'm going to be very honest. A step ladder on a layout that has front details is incredibly useful. Any modeler that says you do not need a runaround track really needs to have this conversation in detail, because as you can see, this is a great tool. Once we have that coupled up, we simply pull out this car. And we're going to be taking it pretty much out of town, but you're going to see as soon as we pass the switch, we're going to stop. I always take my time with backing moves just because of Talgo couplers. They're not always the best. And we want to make sure we have a nice clean couple. And then we want to come back along here. And then pull out. This operating system is making me really wish I had a sound decoder so I can hear a nice distinctive burble of a Baldwin. And here it comes yet again, but this time we're going to be dropping off 2 more cars. And we're pulling out the one we want to keep. And that right there is the exact reason why you always want to make sure you align your switches properly first. I made that mistake. I just caused a derailment. Fortunately, the prototype police will not catch that. And stuff happens. Once we get this reconnected, we're able to go ahead and start pulling the train out. Time to start collecting up our train for outbound, even though we still have one more pickup and drop off to go. We're going to use all available space possible because Rule 91 goes into effect here. Rule 91 on the Southern Pacific / Pacific Electric was storage space, and that can always be beneficial. It's amazing to me that the guy in the 34 Ford and the 40 Ford has not decided to move yet.
but fortunately for us, this is N scale and not real. As you can tell, the trees are not firmly planted due to the ability to move things around. That will be a future endeavor. I plan to get rid of the bases and drill holes and mount them directly into the benchwork. Unfortunately, city planners did not plan this crossing and street well. The Playa Desnuda branch has been here since the early 1900s, while street paving has not gone through until much later. And again, always have your brakeman and switchman getting everything ready for your next move. Once we have a good coupling, which is not the case in this time, there we go. We simply have to pull out. Now that we got a good drop-off point here, we are going to actually undo one of the moves that we did earlier, and that was spotting the Southern Pacific boxcar at D'Amato Lumber, so we have the runaround track. In this move, you'll see why in just a little bit. Now we have to make sure that we get the pickups from Playa Desnuda's shell. And due to the limited run tail track here, we can't do this in one simple move. On a switching layout, it is imperative that you keep your track clean. And don't sweat the palm tree. Here we are stopping it just in front of the switch for Playa Desnuda shell for an obvious reason. And we are going to go back and use our runaround track for the umpteenth time. Yet again, this coupler is going to give me a little trouble. I will be replacing it with a Microtrains 1015. Once we have that reconnected there, we're going to go ahead and pull forward, respot the Southern Pacific car here. And pull forward through the switch. Once we got that cleared, we need to make sure all switches are thrown properly. Now here's what's important. Do not couple. Remember, we are building the outbound train right now using every available bit of space.